Hey guys, welcome back to another Slightly Redneck video. Again, my name's Chris. This week I'm going to talk about whether putting light on your birds to get them to lay longer in the year is going to shorten their lifelong egg laying cycle. Kind of complex way to put it, I guess, but that's the best way I could think. All right, so let's jump right into this. So last week I posted a video about why your quail may not be laying eggs right now, because we're going into fall, the days are getting shorter. Quail need about 14 hours of light a day in order to lay eggs consistently, so I suggest putting a light up on your hutch in order to keep them laying into the fall and into the winter months. And I had several people that commented on that and wanted to know if that was going to shorten their egg laying cycle lifelong. Like, is it better to give them a natural break and then they'll stay laying eggs longer in their life? Hopefully that kind of makes sense. So, honest answer is I really don't know the truth to this answer. I have read a few things on that. I don't know, I haven't seen any scientific studies on that, but what I've always heard is that a bird is born with a certain number of eggs they're going to lay in their entire life, or they hatch out, I should say, with a certain number of eggs they're going to lay their entire life. So if it's, let's just do simple math, if it's 100 eggs that they're going to lay over their lifetime, and let's say they lay one egg a month, just to make the math simple, and you get 4 months of summer, so 4 months naturally where they would lay eggs. So they lay 4 eggs. If you keep a light on them and keep them laying all 12 months, then they lay 12 eggs within a year. So if they're laying 4 eggs a year to 100 eggs, let's make it simpler. Let's say 20 eggs, do simpler math. That's 5 years that they're going to lay eggs. But if you get them laying 12 eggs a year, 12 months out of the year, then you're going to cut their life down to, what is that, about a year and a half, something like that, a year and a half, instead of 5 years. So they'll, not necessarily that they'll die, but they'll stop laying eggs much, much sooner in their life. And that may be true. Again, I don't really know the actual answer to that. But my thought is, it doesn't really matter to me. I keep my birds for meat and for egg production. So as they slow down on their egg production, they become meat and feed my family. And I know that in some ways that kind of sounds cruel, that that's all they're there for. I do care for my animals. I do want them to have a nice, happy, healthy lifestyle. I keep them well fed. I keep them well watered. Give them sandboxes. Make sure it's all cleaned out on a regular basis. I want all that stuff to be good and healthy and happy. I don't think that laying eggs, causing them to keep laying eggs into the fall and into the winter is causing them any kind of discomfort. I don't think that it's causing them to suffer any kind of health issues. They may just stop laying eggs a little bit sooner in their life. But I generally replace my birds about once every 2 years anyway. So really kind of pretty well before they stop laying eggs on a regular basis. Now, if you are concerned about that, if you want to give them a natural break, then don't put lights on your hutches. It's fine. You can not have eggs in the wintertime and the fall. Let them have that break. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not going to judge you for doing that. Me personally, I want to continue. These are food for my family, and to just go without eggs for 4 or 5 months of the year, probably closer to 4 months of the year, is not really what I'm in it for. I want to make sure they're still producing eggs as food for my family, and then again they become meat for my family whenever they're done producing eggs. Hopefully that kind of makes sense. So again, I don't know of any scientific studies on this that says that that's for sure the case. I kind of lean towards thinking it probably is the case, that if you keep light on them, you keep them laying during the fall and the winter months, that they will stop laying sooner in their lifetime. It will shorten their overall lifelong egg laying abilities, if that's the way to say it. It's kind of hard to figure out how to word that exactly so it makes sense. But again, I don't know if that's for sure the case, but it doesn't really matter to me. I don't want to say I don't really care, but that, just the way that what my birds are for, it doesn't matter if they're going to lay eggs for 2 years instead of 5 years. I'll just replace them with new breeders at that point and new egg layers at that point anyway. I've got a pretty constant supply coming in. Now, if you just have a limited number of birds, you're keeping them more as like pets or something like that, then yeah, you may not want to add light. You may want to give them that natural break. Give them, when the days start getting shorter, they just naturally stop laying eggs, and let them just pick up back naturally in the spring. There's nothing wrong with that. That's probably a perfectly good way to raise your birds. But that's just not the way that I do it. So hopefully that kind of makes sense. All right, so now that that's out of the way, There was a couple other questions that came up during last week's video. I didn't get a chance to respond to comments, but I do read almost all the comments that come through. I get emails on them, so I have a tendency to read them all. I just don't always get a chance. In fact, I very seldom get a chance anymore to get in there and actually sit down and answer those comments. So I apologize for that, but let me see if I can get a few of them addressed real quick. I had a couple of questions about this light that I'm using, where you can get one. Unfortunately, you can't get one. This is my own design. Hang on, Max, get back. Get back, buddy. I got electric wire run under there, and he was getting real close to it. I don't want him to test it out right now. So anyway, you can't get one of these lights. This is my own design. I didn't build it myself. I went through a manufacturer to have it built. I put down a pretty substantial deposit, like a good faith deposit, because I was planning on putting ordering a bunch of them at some point and then offering them for sale to everybody. But the Kickstarter programs failed. I did Kickstarter twice. I didn't get the funding for it. So these are the only ones that exist. This one and that one on my other hutch right there. They cost me quite a bit of money, about $500 I put down to have these developed. So they're not worth $500, of course. They're worth probably about $30, $40. They work great, but they're unfortunately just not for sale at this time. I'm going to work on trying to get that going again. I've had a lot of questions about it again recently, people wanting to buy them. So who knows, maybe I can work something out, at least get a small order together, get them over here and be able to offer them for sale. Also, I had questions about if this light hanging over the closed section of my coop, how they get light inside this section right here. Let me open this up, and maybe you can tell, maybe you can't. My dog's after something. I want to make sure it's nothing. Okay, maybe you can tell, maybe you can't. This section right here is covered with clear plastic. So when that light's on in the morning, right now it's not going to show because it's sunny outside, but it lights up through here as well. This is like 3 mil clear plastic, and it's a little dirty right now, but it is clear plastic. The light shines through there. So that was good thinking about whether you should put it inside the hutch or outside of the hutch. To me, it's just more convenient to have it up here because I can get to it. But you could easily put it inside the hutch as well. That would work just fine. What else did I have a question about? I think that was most of the common questions that came up in there. I did have some people ask about how often I have to clean out my sandbox in here. Once every couple of months. It's really not that bad. Probably once every 5 or 6 months I clean it out. Maybe a little sooner than that. 4 months, let's say. Once every 4 months I clean it out. Their droppings do accumulate in there, but they stay dry. They get buried in the sand. It's really not that bad, not that filthy. It's not as bad as you would expect it to be. And the big benefit about having a good sandbox in here is they lay almost all their eggs in the sandbox, and the eggs themselves come out just perfectly clean. There's like nothing on them. Almost never is there anything stuck to the eggs, which is unheard of if you just have your birds laying them on the wire. All right, and one last update again from last week's video. As you guys that watched it knew I had to take my dog to the emergency vet, that he hurt himself. He cut himself wide open. I don't know if you can see back there, he's running around. You guys want to know how he was doing, how he's healing up. He's doing just fine. I mean, it still looks kind of bad. It's still a big open wound, but it's not infected at all, and he just acts like it's not even there. I mean, it's not bothering him at all. Thankfully, he's not licking it a whole lot. We don't have to worry about putting a collar on him to keep him from licking it. Max, come. We'll show him off here and we'll see. That's a good boy. Come here. Oh, he's my buddy. That's good. That's good. All right, come here. Come here. Turn around. Turn around. All right. So, there you go. So hopefully you guys, I don't know if you can see that real well or not. I mean, it kind of looks bad because it's a big open wound. But again, it's not infected. It doesn't show any signs of infection. He's not showing any signs that it's bothering him, so he's healing up pretty well right now, and I got pretty good confidence that he's going to be just fine. He's acting just like his old self. I mean, we've got to keep him inside during the day. He's a good dog, so he doesn't do anything. He doesn't chew anything up. He's house trained. It's fine. We can just leave him inside while we're at work all day long, and he does just fine. So we're lucky in that sense that we don't have to worry about that. But he is kind of a little wound up when we get home. He wants to go outside and play, and we just can't leave him outside by himself. We have to kind of monitor him, and I'm going to have to go clean him up now because he's been running around in the brush back here chasing things, and it's going to have to be cleaned out. But other than that, he's doing just great. All right, I think that about wraps it up for today's video. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If I didn't get your comment answered or one of the common questions you had, sorry about that. I'm working on trying to get some free time and freeing up my time a little bit more to be able to get in there and respond to your comments like I used to. Just right now, things are incredibly busy and it's just not working out very well. But stick with me. I'm going to do my best to get back in there. Thank you guys so much for watching again. God bless, and we will see you on the next video.